car, this is the track, and this is me spinning on my first lap of qualifying. As I typically, I don't know that I have done a single race this week without spinning on the first lap. My second lap was not that great, 47.0. The guy at the top, 45.8, fastest lap I have seen so far. I think I can compete with everybody else, but I am sure that he will drive away. Now let's get right into the race. We have 16 laps of Hungaroring, everybody pulling to the right because the inside is king in turn 1, and you'll kind of see exactly why that is coming into turn 1, and everybody kind of gets held up here. They're 3 wide, and then this guy kind of cuts back in front of us. Car number 4, he runs into the back of us, and there's not much he could do. There were also people on his ass about to hit him, so I get pushed deep, and he's going to sneak up the inside, moving us temporarily down into P6. So we've actually lost a position on race start. Then he's going to move ahead into the next corner, which I don't want to send 3 wide. I'm just going to follow him through. Somebody gets caught on the outside. They make contact up ahead. Car number 1 and car number 4 are now side by side as we have reclaimed P5 from that silver car that kind of got pushed wide, looking for a switchback on the very fast right-hander. Car number 4 pulling to the inside, and I probably could have made something work there, but I opt to back out. It's just like, this is kind of a pinch point, high risk of us just killing each other had I forced the issue there. Car number 4 kind of gets close to 1, locks up his brakes, trying not to hit him, and we kind of find room up the inside there. We are alongside. Our front wheel is just about with the bumper of the, I mean, we're not alongside, but we are alongside going into the braking zone as I am shipping it through there. And car number 4 probably got on the throttle a little bit too early there. Ends up getting backed up by me as I had that narrow line, so my whole chicane run was messed up. That ultimately ends up slowing him down, putting him side by side with 12 for a moment, who then ends up side by side with 11, pushing 12 off of the track, and all of that fighting has opened up a nice little gap behind us, so we no longer have to worry about the car that we just got past. So back into, or actually up into P4 now, so we're up a position after the shenanigans that have gone down that lap, and back getting onto the tail of car number 1, who is a high-rated driver, but I think he just hadn't driven much of this track. As you saw, number 4 almost kind of running into the back of him earlier, and we're going to have a couple of instances this race where similar situations will arise. Now he's about 8 tenths ahead of us, 7 tenths ahead of us, excuse me, skipping ahead to lap number 3, turn number 2, and we've started to catch up to him, as well as kind of drop the cars behind a little bit. We've got around 2 or a second and a half behind, 2 seconds to P2, which is my ultimate goal. However, my Moza gear just shits out on me here. All of my rev lights stop working. The lights on my wheels start going absolutely nuts. The force feedback just feels wrong. I think it disconnected from Moza pit house or whatever it is, and you can see me just continuously drop time as I am absolutely terrified of wrecking my car at this point. My force feedback is totally light. The car behind is now just about on my ass. Going through the chicane, it's just now resetting. I don't know what the issue is. Everything was working fine, and then it's working at around this time it all clicks back and all my lights come back, my rev lights come back. I have no idea what happened. When things like that do happen, though, I like to just think of them as, you know, similar to mechanical failures that happen in real life, and just kind of let it be part of the immersion for me. Now, the thing about gear failing, or like something just kind of going wrong while you're driving, is recovering the trust in the car and in your gear, which takes me a little bit. I've had issues in the past where it will happen constantly, sometimes twice a lap, where my car just refuses to shift, or my wheel disconnects from my base, all sorts of weird stuff. So I was wary of that happening, and I was driving a bit under the limit because I just did not trust my gear. So we're under threat from P5 right now. We're still in P4, and it's going to take us a little bit of time to allow ourselves to push full out, just because that lack of trust in our gear. Car number 11 is still on the back of P4, and I mean that could go either way for them. I'm hoping that he begins some sort of fight just to further remove them from my experience of this race. Currently half a second to the car behind, which, I mean, one mistake and this position is gone for me. So I have to start getting back at it. We have lost quite a bit of time, about 2 more seconds to Gabriel in P2, so he's now 4 seconds up the road. The leader he's doing 46.6 on like the second or third lap, whatever that was. I don't know. He's absolutely flying. By the time lap number 7 comes around, we've regained our confidence. We have put a nice little gap behind to this guy who is actually going to brake way too late into turn 1 on this occasion. Car number 11 finally getting that move done. And like I was saying earlier, one mistake when you're about 3-4 tenths behind can easily lose you a position. And there's a good example of it right there. Now, the battle for P3 is about to start happening as we find ourselves only half of a second behind him. Still 4 seconds to Gabriel in P2. So Gabriel was driving a very consistent and good race. You can see the gap to P1 has opened up though. That guy was ridiculous. He was doing low 46s, and we'll cover some of his laps later because during the race I knew that this was the fastest guy I had seen all week, and I had to learn something from it. I mean, when you're in a race with somebody who's that much faster than you guys, take it as an opportunity to look back on the race, study their laps, their best lap, or like moves that they made. Just try and see what they're doing different than you, because they're probably doing something better than you. For example, the way that I opened up that corner and then I missed that inside curve, I was consistently doing that. That's just, I thought I had to late apex that corner, and I was really trying to hustle the car to the left to open it up. We'll go over his lap later and you'll see a severely different line that he takes that is much, much faster. Now, back to this race. Roland right ahead of us. I mean, just about literally inside of our bumper as we go around that corner. We are on his tail, and it's just about time to get this move done, because if I spend any more time behind this guy, I think I'm going to be losing time to P2, which I do think is a realistic possibility. We're only halfway through the race. Roland is going deep into the final corner. I could use this opportunity to look for a move up the inside of turn 1. We're in the slip, we're 2 tenths behind. This is a very real place to make this move. However, I opt to settle behind him. I actually brake early as well because I just kind of want to feel out how he takes this corner, and I still end up almost running into the back of him, having to kind of move my car to the left there, lifting my brakes to not lock them up. And you can see that he's like really hugging it tight. He's not right using all of that exit curve either. So I should have taken that into account and looked for a move up the inside at some point, because I feel like he was braking a little bit too hard, too late in that corner. When, I mean, like I said as well, I believe that he probably hasn't driven a ton of this track because this guy is extremely fast. So to be on his tail like this was not something familiar for me, but at this moment I am on his tail. And as we head up towards the chicane, one of my favorite overtaking opportunities on this track, not going to be useful to us in this instance. We actually lose time to him around that long right-hander, but through the chicane, right back onto his tail. If we get a good exit, we could stay there, but we don't. So we send it a bit too hot through there, which is really the only reason we were on his tail. Still not hitting that curve on the inside. And like I said, at the moment, I thought that that was right, but you can see him gapping us through the fast kind of S's on this track, which was arguably my worst sector. I would just constantly lost time to most other drivers through there. But coming into the final sector, which I did feel very confident on, especially this corner, this corner and the next corner, the final 2 corners, I should say, I felt very comfortable on. Roland is going to go very deep through there, which can work, but you have to really carry a lot of speed through there. And then the final corner, I think he's going a bit too deep initially. It seems like it's going to give you a really good exit, but I think if you just hold it a bit tighter, you save time through the corner, and the exit is just about the same if you get the rotation right. 2 tenths once again into the first corner, and I'm braking much earlier than I would if it were just me on track, trying to compensate for the slipstream, but I still managed to hit him on the apex. I felt like I just carried a lot more speed through the apex than him, and that was a 4 times contact. It didn't look very big, but it was a 4 times. And after that one, I just kind of wanted to sit back. I didn't want to pressure him too much. You know, if P4 is what I get, P4 is what I get. But he ends up driving into the pits to serve a drive-through. So he must have been pretty close to one, and I was the one that pushed him over the edge. Maybe he was trying to be extra safe, and that's why he was overslowing at the apex. I'm not quite sure. Either way, I drove into him. I was apologizing for that. That was 100% my fault, and I felt really bad about that. So we move up into P3 in a way that I don't like to move up into P3. At this point, the guy in P2 is just about another second ahead of us, and we have 6 laps left to go. By the time the final lap came around, I didn't have the pace to make up that kind of gap to him. So we're heading towards the final corners, and he was doing consistently, very, very good laps. My last few laps got down quite a bit of time. I set a 46.7 at one point, which I was pretty excited about for race pace, but I knew it could be better, especially like looking at P1, who finished the race like 15 seconds ahead of me or something absolutely absurd like that. So, I mean, I was happy, but it's kind of hard to be happy about your times when somebody does that. So before we investigate those, let's look at the results. Finishing in P3, losing a lot of safety rating. Roland made a decent comeback. I'm so sorry about that, Roland. The top guy was half a second faster than our lap. So there was definitely some things that we were missing out on. A lot of off tracks for us, plus that 4 times contact, and we're 5K. So woo, that's cool. Now let's look at this guy's fastest lap. It was lap number 4. And there's a lot of things he was doing different to me, namely turn 1. Look how, okay, so I normally brake halfway through this like light patch on the side. Let's go back a little bit so we can watch it. He's braking after that light patch. Like he starts braking after he has passed that. So I think I was braking a little bit too early and maybe too light. And I think also that could have been part of why I was running into Roland. Like I was carrying more speed through the apex, but I was overslowing early on. So I need to brake later for turn 1. Turn 2, missed the first apex just a little bit, cutting back for a really, really strong run out of that corner, compromising on entry to this corner, take a lot of that curb, more than I have been using. Similar line to what Hayden Bramley was doing through here, taking a lot of that inside curb, and then compromising this right here. If you don't know who Hayden Bramley is, by the way, watch the last video, I'll add it right here, where I learned some things from his lap. Into the chicane, braking just before the curbing. This is important. Left tire can go over the white line on the first apex. Right tire can not, absolutely not go over the white line, or you get an off track. Now, for my worst sector, a lot of things to learn here. He is cutting quite a bit of this curb. Look how much he is compromising this. He is all over the curb, all over that curb. Like, I have not even been touching that curb. And he turns in way earlier than me, uses all of that curb. Same thing here. He's turning in earlier, using the curb. Makes sense because it makes the track wider for you, right? So you can make the corner easier. You can turn in earlier. Braking just before the 100. I was braking too early, abusing that inside curb. And then for these two final corners, I actually think that I was somewhat similar on pace. He is taking a slightly different line to me, compromising a lot more on the apex, the first apex of the final corner, and the entry of the final corner, which is something I did want to take and try. 46.27, that was his fastest lap. Super fast. So I hopped into a practice after this and tried to implement as much of this as I could, like really force myself to try all of these things out. And we didn't have a lot of time between that last race and the one that's coming up right now, so I only got time to do about 6 or 7 laps, I think, and I'm doing it on quali fuel because I need to practice quali. Braking later. I typically brake like here, but you can see I'm full throttle. So we're going to reverse it a little bit, and you can see that after I pass that, that's when I'm getting on the brakes. So much later than I was before. I'm also getting on the brakes a bit harder, trailing off viciously, absolutely missing that apex. Hopefully at some point in the future I can hit that. It wasn't going to be today. Towards corner number 2 and missing the first apex, going a bit deeper, really cutting back for a good exit, like really focusing on getting a straight exit here, abusing this curb a lot more than I have been, and having to do a little bit of counter steering, but I think that's good because we're keeping it pinned and we're not sliding too much. Braking a bit later through here, using a lot more of this curb and the exit curb right there, compromising into the long right-hander, not getting onto that curb too early, pushing immediately wide, want to just barely hang on to the red and white curbing with the right tire, all up on this one. Left tire, white line, right tire, not the white line. Beautiful. And I do kind of miss this apex a little bit. I go a bit deeper than I would have liked, but I'm still braking earlier, much more compromising. Getting on that curb, it's helping to pull me around. And towards the very fast sector right here, I'm gonna try and get on this curbing on the right. I don't quite do it. Honestly, I mean, that was about what I had normally been doing, and it wasn't great. Other than that, though, this lap seemed to be really good. Trying to use the inside curb a lot more there, and replicating his line through here as well, where he kind of misses the first apex, goes deep, cuts back for a really strong second apex, similar to turn 2. And then the final corner, I'm still going far too wide, but I am missing that first apex and getting on the throttle a lot earlier. So overall, I felt really good about this, and I did notice that I was much faster, 46.2, which is about 0.2 faster than my next fastest qualifying time. So there was absolutely time gained. with our newfound pace, let's get into qualifying for the next race. And I was feeling super confident. Look how hard I'm cutting back. Look how straight of an exit I'm getting. And then somehow barely pushing it over the limit here. Like, I am a pixel over that curb. Oh my God, dude. I was like so frustrated with myself. I could not qualify. I just could not qualify. The next lap was actually, so this is my last qualifying lap. I have to at least put a time in. That was really the only thing important to me. As much as I enjoyed, you know, finding that pace, it was more important that I just have a lap in, so I'm not starting like from probably the back of the pack. And the lap felt very clean. I was on course to do like a 46.3 or 46.4, which was fairly good, but the lap time did not show up on my car, and that is because I got this message that said abnormal lap invalid discontinuity. Now, if you don't know what that means, I didn't either at the time, but I was about to find out. It didn't count my lap. I'm starting in P11, and the SOF here was not great. Like, I would lose quite a bit if I were to get wrecked out somehow. The guy behind me, car number 2, is 3K. I'm 2K higher than him, and I'm currently losing 80 iRating, so I need to move forward. Everybody is disappearing in front of me. I guess my internet was cooked, and that's why that lap didn't count. And I realized that would make it more difficult for myself and everybody around me, so I took that into consideration. A great launch. We've got around car number 18, and it looks like car number 2 is following us up the inside. Like I said, the inside is king. I don't want to be too aggressive here, but turn 1, I mean, if you're all the way on the inside like this, I feel like it's generally a pretty safe move. Everybody can kind of avoid, like, I'm just hugging the inside. Everybody else can have the rest of the track. We managed to get a beautiful run out of there, and we jump up to P7 after turn 1. Jason behind us, so he followed us all the way through, and we're only losing 35 iRating at this point. Almost running into the back of car number 4 there and staying wide to avoid him. Almost losing the position to Jason behind us, who's been following us around. Controversial moment alert. It's on the horizon as we head towards the long right-hander that leads up to the chicane, and very strange moment. The car ahead of car number 4 overslows a lot, cuts in early, and I take the inside. Everybody disappears. When they reappear, it appears that I have killed car number 4. I don't quite know how that happened, and I can't really see anything because everybody was disconnected. There's somebody off in, or because I disconnected from everybody else, I guess, so that I couldn't go back and see what exactly happened there, but I'm pretty sure like we just made contact side by side. I was completely unaffected. I didn't even get a contact for that. So maybe he just slid out, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with my end. I am all over the tail of car number 12, trying to be cautious about this, lifting a lot, trying not to make contact with him. And into the next corner, I just felt like he was way overslowing it, so I go side by side, end up making contact with him, so I slow down to let him keep the position. And car number 2, taking advantage of that, he's going to go up the inside as I was trying to give that position back to car number 12. And I mean, I guess, you know, that happens sometimes. That's just what it is. So down to P6 now as we cross onto lap 2 with a little bit more work to do ahead of ourselves, but it is a very long race. 16 laps is a long time. It's 2 minutes a lap. So, I mean, what is that, 32 minutes a race? It's a lot of time to make moves. Right back onto the tail of car number 2 with an absolutely atrocious run out of the chicane, and he's going to pull a little bit away from us, then disappear, as I'm pretty sure he was taking a pretty faulty line through those S's, a line similar to what I used to take, and that is going to see me gain a bit of time onto him as we head towards the very heavy braking zone that kind of leads us into the final sector. It seems like he just does not get the power down in time. I'm going to move to the inside to let him know that I'm looking for this move, brake slightly lighter, and find that one given to us, so he just kind of backs out of that, and I will happily take that back up into P5. And let's try and make a move now onto car number 12 cleanly without making contact, as we did previously a couple of laps ago. Staying behind him here, not wanting to lose a ton of time. Turn 1 is a good place to lose a ton of time, and if you go side by side through there, you open up opportunity for the car behind to make a move on you, which he wasn't that far behind us as we crossed the line. Car 12 going very deep into turn 2, and he's going to get it turned around in time, but I am definitely going to have a better run than him through here, or I had the opportunity to. I think I lifted more than I had to, and I'm just going to fall back behind him. I didn't quite know where I was looking to get this move done. I was kind of just waiting for him to open something up. You can see me kind of staying in the middle of the track just to keep pressure. I think it gets in his head a little bit. He totally misses the apex of the long right-hander, and I find myself with an opportunity to make a dive into the chicane, which I am going to take with both eyes closed, hoping for the best. He backs out and gives it to me. I get an absolutely horrible run through there because, I mean, I dove the fuck out of it, and he's going to be on my tail, but within just a few corners, we will, with our new lines that we have been practicing, thank you to, I don't even know how to say that guy's name from last race. I'm pretty sure his name was like Handy Mandy or something, but a few corners later, and we have pulled about 3/4 of a second gap. So we are absolutely flying through that sector now, and what a crazy thing to see a change become like relevant to your driving that fast. Like, it was a significant difference in pace. I think I found over or almost 2/10 in that sector alone on my optimum. So I mean, it's crazy to me, and it reignites the love of driving. As I say so much, there is so many different things in driving that reignite the love of driving, as does this, a battle happening for P1, which allows me to catch up to the leading group. I am now less than half of a second off of P3 and looking a podium down in the throat. This is lap number 5, so still a ton of time to go. I am in absolutely no rush. Not to mention, I knew that my internet was total shit for whatever reason. It's never done that before, so I didn't want to like ruin anybody's race with that, make any hyper, well, I'm gonna hit this guy as I'm saying this, but I promise I was like really trying to not get too involved and just let opportunities come to me, not force any like 2/10, 3/10 dives or anything. Like, if I get a better exit and I find myself bumper to bumper, I'll look up the inside, but I don't want to, I just wanted to not ruin anyone's race. Like, I almost did to that car number 12 earlier, hitting him through this corner, and I wanted to not do that. I guess I fucking ruined car number 4's race on lap 1, but God, I mean, the more I think about it, I was a bit of a menace on track. I was trying not to be, though. Anyway, we are about to cross the line onto lap number 6, and it seems like P1 has pulled a decent little gap from P2. I was really just excited to watch this battle, and there we go. Everybody's gone, so I can't watch it. I don't know what was happening. I reset my internet after this, and it hasn't done it since, so I guess just remember to like reset your internet every once in a while. I guess the last time I reset it was probably like a month at the very least, going very deep into turn 1, and thankfully, I mean, everybody's gone again. At this point, they were gone for quite a while, so I broke very early because I did not want to like risk hitting anybody here, but I think it still got into the head of the car ahead, who goes very deep, potentially thinking that like I'm trying to make a dive while I'm invisible or something, but I was not going to do that. As we come through the fast right-hander, though, you can see the pink car from lap 1, who is about to get lapped now. I love his livery, though. It's the Antisocial Social Club. I ran that one for a long time. Sick livery. Nearing this chicane, and an opportunity like I was talking about earlier is about to open up as car number 6 slides out. I think car number 3 kind of follows him, not sure where his car is going to go. Opens up the inside for us. We are side by side going into the chicane, and there is no way I'm not looking to make this move. Car number 3 does seem to brake a little bit late, as if he was trying to fight that. The car ahead, 1.7 seconds, so we are starting to find ourselves looking at the lead of this race. 10 laps left to go, a lot of time. Like I said, no major rush. Car number 4, bless his soul, he's pulled over on the pit straight to let everybody go through. I don't know if he had damage or what exactly was going on, but fuck, I feel that he's losing 108 I rating. That's fucked. That's fucked. I'm so sorry, Patrice. That was, yeah, that's the type of thing you see on Reddit where people are like, should people with this type of internet be allowed to race? And honestly, I don't think you should be. If your internet is blinking like that, like, the game should kick you out. If it had kicked me out at the beginning of this race, I would understand, but it didn't. So I'm gonna send it. Like, I feel like most people would. I don't think you can really blame someone for that. Like, I mean, you can blame them for that, but shit, I don't know. There goes the leader in and out. I think I'm gonna brake a little bit early for this one, just slightly early, and even still, we almost run into the back of him there. So that probably did a number to his mental health. Like, seeing that happen, you can see he's kind of all over the place right now. I'm sure he's worried I'm just gonna disappear and then reappear again. Who fucking knows? Honestly, I'm worried about the same thing. I should have backed. I mean, I think well, it doesn't matter because he slides out. I was going to say I should back off through here, but you know what? Fuck it. We're going to take the lead of the race, and now nobody has to worry about us. So, you know, as long as we have a couple good corners here and don't do any stupid mistakes, hit anybody, nobody should have to worry about us. And that would, I'm not going to try and act like that wasn't the case. We were just nailing our exits here, pulling a little bit of time in every corner onto lap number, I think this is lap number 8. And yeah, the gap is already beginning to grow, and you'll see as we exit turn 1, it has grown probably another 2 or 3 tenths. It would continue that way, but there was still opportunity for a good battle for P2 between car number 5 and car number 3 here, as he is right on his tail, which he may not have been had I not done all of the things that I did and been there. As I said, I was trying not to influence that battle too much. I was hanging back for the most part, but once the opportunity opened up, you know, you have to do that. Now they are hot on each other's tail, heading into the chicane. Great run out of that corner from car number 5, who seems to almost be defending the chicane. I don't think there would be a move coming from that far back, and that's going to end up allowing car number 3 to catch up as he is back on the tail of him, and car number 5 really looking to send it and try and gain time through that corner, which is not something you really want to do. That's a corner that you want to use to set up for the next one. Car number 3 all over him. It's only a matter of time, honestly. 5 is sliding in just about every single corner, perhaps using the brake bias I used to use, which was like -8, which everybody turn your brake bias up. Beautiful move from car number 3 into the heavy braking zone, and he's going to get that one done. Now, brake bias, like I was saying, yeah, turn that up to like 41.6. That's what I'm using most of the time here, with like 1 or 2 clicks up or down. Car number 5 makes a pretty massive error on the final corner, which is going to lose him probably like 4 or 5 positions here. He's having to wait. Good on him for waiting. Slides a little bit too far as he rejoins, eventually gets it pointed the wrong way, and finds a large enough gap that he doesn't lose any more positions. The rest of this race we used to try and solidify the lines that we had practiced from the guy last race and try and get our race pace down. I think my previous best was a 46.6 in race, and now I was doing easily 46.6s. I even got down to a 46.5 at one point and was consistently within the 46s. I was pretty happy with the progress. Crossing the line for P1, and that would actually end up being our last race of Hungaroring, a super fun track. Here are the results. California on top with a 46.5, a low 46.5 as well. So we went green in iRating, red in safety rating. Pretty common theme. If you guys enjoyed this and want to watch more, I'll put some videos up on the screen now, or you can go to my channel and support me there. Thank you guys so much.